this crucial life. And before I dive into this, you guys, it is so important for our students to have important, these important and really tough conversations with themselves, with their peers, with their families, especially, you guys, ever since, this pandemic, started, you guys, we have seen, the killing of, George Floyd. We saw, Breonna Taylor, and so many others, you guys. And it has, brought us, to really have this important conversation. We had the Black Lives Matter movement and so on and so on. So it's for all of us, not just only to our students, you guys, but all of us. We have to have these important conversations with ourselves. And I know, you guys, I did an episode of this onto my other show, Daily Talks Education. I will have a link so you guys can check out that. And we also have some conversation onto this show as well, some really deep, important combos. So let's talk about our students, okay? So this crucial life skill, this improves with classroom practice, and many students may benefit from a refresher, you guys, okay? So take a moment, you guys, educators, listen very closely, you guys. Okay, teachers, please, teacher assistants, whoever's watching my show. Oh my, this. I was doing so good, you guys, so good until now. You guys just pay attention to what I'm about to say here. Okay, so just take a moment and reflect on conversations you have had recently with your students. What made your best conversations genuine? Did you feel hard? I mean, did you feel heard? Did you understood? How could you tell? Did you want to talk to that person or to that group of people again very soon? What about conversations that were ungenuine and unsatisfying? What was different about them? Well, you guys, the bottom line of this is that conversations are incredibly important. Like I mentioned earlier, they are. We have to keep on having these tough conversations, guys. These important, uncomfortable conversations. You guys will have to. Okay. And they are a basic unit of all kinds of interactions, formal and informal, serious and not serious, courteous and not courteous, you guys. And the list, I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So whenever we engage with other people, especially one other person, the nature of the conversation we have influence whether it will accomplish what we want, out of the outcome that strengthens our relationship with other people. Okay, so I'm gonna dive on down into this, you guys. With I got about three bulletin points to really point out to you guys. So jot these down if you can. That may, have some important keywords to take away from this onto the screen. So the first we have is guiding students toward good conversations. Now, good conversations typically cover six broad areas. You have social inadequate, clarity of communication, reappropriation, showing interest and engagement, perspective, taking and inclusion, and finding common ground. Now, if you teach your students to keep these areas in mind before a conversation and during conversations, it's very likely that their experience will go reasonably well. And I believe that as well. I believe that as well. So yeah, keep that in mind, Jack. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when your students are, right before, they're about to have these conversations, and also during. Make sure that those six broad areas that I just mentioned, it leads on into their conversation. If that makes sense, guys. If that makes sense, I hope it does. Okay. So number two, our second bullet point, is to creating opportunities to improve conversational skills. Now, as with most important skills, practice leads to improvement, right? Right? Absolutely, because absolutely. The most social and emotional learning programs offer opportunities for conversation, even though they tend to define what they are doing in other terms. Now, here's an example. Morning meetings from the responsive classroom program can be thought of as an example of group conversations. So, can sharing and other kinds of circles found in social decision making or social problem solving, open circle, restorative practice, which we have discussed to the show, and other related programs. Now, what often is missing though is skill development in this area. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And to go on down with this, teachers, you can help your students develop norms designed to create a brave conversation space and responding to students' existing conversational skills. Yes, and help them to engage in active, reflective listening. Get involved, get involved. Appropriate conversation styles and patient, focused attention. Don't we need that? We gotta stay patient, when we're having it because we can't all. When you're wrong about this, we got. Let's hear each other out first. Let that other person finish what they have to say. Be patient. Be respectful. Let me have my 2 cents into that, and we can go back and forth, have respectfully, not just well, you know about this. No, no. Let's be patient with others, even if we don't agree with each other. Let's hear them out. Let's hear them out. Let's be respectful because that's what we need to teach our students, especially guys in these days and times in today's world. Because our students these days, you guys, I don't know what has happened because I know before the pandemic, they was worse, but now I think they're even more worse because I remember back when I was working as a teacher assistant at an after school at a after school children program. I remember that the students that I had worked with, the second graders, and also with all the students there as well. There was like one day, or I don't know, and I believe I mentioned this story. Well, probably not onto here, probably onto my other show with Andrew. But anyways, I remember you guys that right like after because this was like the week before spring break. I remember this one week, and I remember to this day, all the students, including my students, the second graders, everything was going very smoothly. They're doing their work, this and that, very respectful to me, which I was kind of like a little surprised because it's a long story. I'm not going to dive into that. But the next week, spring break, right? Then that following week after spring break, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with those students while they was out of school from spring break. But when I tell you something changed in all of the students, not only my group of second graders, but with the middle school students, the elementary students, I don't know, something happened to where they just they just want to let it free, let it free. Let's just be disrespectful to Mr. Damian and to all of the teachers. Oh my! And I remember when we took our children outside to play. Oh my! Whoa. Like how? This pandemic, you guys, this pandemic has really made our students be really disrespectful toward each other and to their teachers. Like, gosh. But yeah, I just had to add my 2 cents into that. But yeah, but the bottom line is we have to be patient. We have to be patient when we are having these conversations, right? And so, I have some conversation prompts for you guys. So here is a week's worth of conversation prompts based on and this is on, you can do this here's a January theme. I'm trying to say, here's a January theme of planning for the future. So this is for the month of January, and you can, incorporate down on, into the, into later months, February, March, whatever. But listen to this January theme prompt right here. And I have lots of bullet points for this, you guys, so pay close attention. So, one is a new student just arrived at your school. What do you think it feels like to be living in a new place with all new people? Has this happened to you? Okay. What is one action you can take in middle school now that will help prepare you for your dream job of the future? I love that there. The next is, what is it like to work in a group where others do not communicate effectively to solve a problem? And how can you non-verbally demonstrate that you are actively listening to your peers? And finally, not every moment in our lives is going to go well. Preach on that there. But when bad things happen, we have to try to learn from those situations. Absolutely learn from your mistakes, because I remember Andrew, he did a topic of today's. I'm probably not going to paraphrase, quote him exactly, but he said that learning opportunity is it is something with learning opportunity was something, which means that we have to learn from our mistakes, because we can't just, if we did this, like, we can't expect, like, if this didn't happen, I mean, if this didn't work out, why do it again? That you know it didn't work out the first time, why not try to change something about it? Be a problem solver, fix your mistakes. Because if you keep doing the same thing constantly over and over and over again, how are you learning from that? That doesn't make sense with me. That doesn't make sense with Damian Anderson over here. It doesn't. I don't know why I just said that, but it doesn't make sense to me at all. It just don't. It just don't. Okay. So think about a bad moment in your life and challenge your thinking around how this event helped you. Okay. Now, here is a set of prompts that could be used during a fall week. So let's say perhaps, you can use this probably, this week, or, next week, whichever. Whom do you admire most? What are some qualities that you admire about this person that you would like to see in yourself in the future? Small miracles happen every day. What could you do to raise your awareness of these miracles? What does charity mean to you? That's a good one right there. That's a good one right there. What does charity mean to you? Do you need to give money, food, or clothing in order to help others? And how else can you do it? That's a good one right there, because charity means different for many people. It does. For many people, it means different. Why? I don't know. But people think it's what, no, it's not whatever. To me, it's not whatever. It's about helping, raise calls to a certain organization to help them out if they are struggling. That's what charity means to me. Okay. What effects can stress have on your body? Why is it important to monitor your stress level, and how do you do it? And finally, what are you most passionate about that might serve as a future career for you? And how can you do more of what you love doing? So think about those, you guys. Think about those right there. So that is teaching students how to have meaningful conversations with others. So I hope you enjoy that there, because it is important. I'm gonna just leave off of this again before we go to break. It's important. It's important. It's important. I cannot stress this enough. It's important for us, especially our students, to sit down, discuss what is the current state of the world, whatever the issue may be. Let them sit down, let them talk to you, let them talk to their friends, about these things that are happening into our world because our students, you guys, believe it or not, they are seeing everything that is happening right now as I am speaking. They are seeing it, they are breathing it, they are living it each and every day. And our students needs to be heard. We have to let our students have a voice. And I know Andrew absolutely 100% agrees with me. We have to let our students be heard because if not, how in the world do you expect for them to truly understand whatever you are teaching, whatever you're doing inside your own classroom, and your student has no say into the process? They have no say into the process. That's what bugs me to death, you girls. That bugs me to death, and that is where my purpose um onto my show, Damian Talks Education, is for if I can speak on today, is for our students to have a voice because we have opinions. They have opinions, you guys. They have a voice. Let them be heard. Hear them out. Don't just always cut them off like, all right, yes, yeah, move on. What? No, no, that doesn't work with me. That doesn't work for me. So the bottom line is let your students have a voice. Let them have a say so into a conversation, okay?